Well, hey there, everyone. I'm Fox 10 News meteorologist Jennifer Lambers. I'm having some audio issues there to begin, but welcome into this Monday, this edition of Next Weather. Now, what I wanted to go ahead and talk about for today is just going to be the last freeze. I actually got this question earlier from Joe Emer when we were going from Studio 10 into Fox 10 Midday, and he asked us, hey, Jennifer, when do we typically see our last freeze? Am I okay to go ahead and plant our spring flowers? So I want to go ahead and dive a little deeper into that for all the folks. I know it's been beautiful lately for some of these days. We're expecting those mid-70s heading into Tuesday and Wednesday, so more of that sunshine, more of those pleasant conditions. So let's go ahead and dive deeper exactly into what I'm tracking out there and what can you expect. So conditions out there right now, what we're seeing is beautiful conditions down in Orange Beach. I mean, just take a look at the water out there, but that is some strong northerly winds. You can start to see some of the blowing movement there just along the water. It's breezy, but we are starting to introduce just more of that sunshine out there. Temperatures are resting in the lower 60s, sustained winds closer towards 10 to 15 miles per hour, but wind gusts around 25. Now, beautiful today. It's only going to start looking better heading into the rest of this evening. So if you're looking for something to do Tuesday and Wednesday, it's going to be nice to spend it outdoors. Waking up this morning, it was mild out there. We started off the day with those temperatures just in the lower to mid 50s. But as we get into tomorrow, it's going to be a little different, and the reason for that is because this morning we started off gray and gloomy with some of those overcast skies, but now we're starting to introduce some of those clear skies, more of that sunshine beginning to make an appearance. And so by tomorrow morning, we're going to be starting off in the upper 30s and the lower to mid 40s, so much more chilly to start off for your Tuesday, but no freezing weather, and that is going to be the good news. But let's go ahead and take it back. Now, again, that question I got from Joe, when do we typically see our last freeze? Well, let's start in the short term. This is going to be in the last 5 years. So last year it was February 19th. However, something to note is that on March 19th, we actually dipped down to 33 degrees at Mobile Regional. So not quite freezing. It was 1 degree above it. However, other areas in the Fox 10 viewing area did get below 32 degrees. Now, it wasn't a hard freeze. It was just one of those light freezes. So something that you can still manage with your plants out there. You just have to cover them up. So at this point, it's still going to be okay to plant any of those spring flowers that you've been eyeing at any of the local markets. You've been looking to spend some time outdoors, just make it a bit more spring-like out there. 2023, it was March 20th. 2022 is March 13th, so both of those a little later than where we currently are. And then 2021 and 2020, they were both in mid to late February. Now, if we go back to the 1960s, then on average, our last freeze is right around March 1st. So we've already passed that point. So we have statistics and those averages on our side that's pointing towards better conditions ahead of us. But as you see right there, 2023 and 2022, it was mid to late March that we saw that last freeze. But even then, they were light freezes. It was not the hard freeze out there, which is going to be good conditions out there. So just keep in mind, if in the long range we start to talk about any of those frosty conditions, you might just need to take care of those plants. But even then, it's not looking like that for the next 10 days. As we take a look at those forecast lows, we're going to be turning much more mild heading into this weekend. We have some rain showers on the way. It's going to be a little stormy out there. And then even behind a front that we're going to be experiencing this weekend, lows next week only dipping down into the 40s. On average, we're only seeing overnight lows in the upper 40s and the lower 50s around this time of year. So here's my thinking with it. You're good to go. In case you've been delayed just a little bit, because we typically see some of those late freezes during the month of March, you're good to go. You can go ahead and plant some of those spring flowers. If you have any hesitations with it, just remember, if we see anything right now, it's just going to be some of those light freezes out there, which would just be some of those precautions, covering them up with any of the blankets, towels out there. You can wrap non-LED Christmas lights around it, but even then, it's not looking as likely. Statistics are on your side here to where we likely already saw our last freeze for the season, and ahead of us is just going to be some more of those mild mornings. So great conditions for any of those spring plants, and we can start getting it looking just a little bit prettier here across the Gulf Coast, especially now that we're beginning to warm up. We're feeling much more spring-like. I mean, you'll notice it heading into tomorrow when our temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s. We'll be near 80 by the end of the week. and also some later sunsets. So if that's something that you like to do after work, you will have much more daylight to be able to do any of that yard work. As always, we'll continue to keep you updated right here on Fox 10. If you have any additional questions for us, things that you want to cover, that you want covered, either if it's diving back into history, just talking about those statistics, or any other questions, as always, you can message us or email us here at Fox 10. We'd be happy to answer those in our daily Next Weather segments that air Monday through Friday, right around 2:30. Wishing everyone a fantastic Monday. I will see you all in just a little bit on Fox 10 Live.